Okay. Well, basically, at some point I had a feeling, you know, I've been there before, because I think I've won, in 2004, I won exactly the same game against Stefano. I was, well, there I was lost after the opening, here I was lost a bit later, but then he started doing strange things and over-pressing, and suddenly after the time control I see that I'm close to winning. So this seems to happen every now and again. This is all obviously. This has all been played before. I played a 4 here against Konamaru early in the tournament. And here for some reason I decided to start with castles, which basically, after bishop e7 now f4 knight g4 is no longer an option, so I have to play f3. And I completely forgot that he's playing the h5 line now. He played this against Karekin earlier, so. And I saw this, but somehow I forgot that this can happen so late, you know, because normally black just starts with h5. Okay, I mean, this is still theory, but probably king b1 is not very precise. I guess if I want to play h3, bishop d3, I should start with h3, because here after queen c7 I realized if I try doing the usual things, black will simply not play h4, because after... Okay, I have another one. Yeah. After b4, knight d5 didn't appeal to me, and after knight to a5, black has a pleasant game. Black will save a tempo on h4. So I started with bishop d3, and after d5, I played bishop g5 simply to have something to play something after b4, because after that knight g5, okay, with the king on e7, the extra pawn will not be felt. Okay, knight b6 is the most natural move in this position, and I have to do something in the center because it's obvious something will start on the queen side pretty soon. Rook b8, I like that move very much, because it will protect the b4 pawn later if need be. It will also, if I'm foolish enough to take on c4, it will put pressure on the b file. And in general, black was not ready to play either knight c4 or b4 yet. Here I could try playing h3 or even maybe a3 occurred to me to stop b4 once and for all. But I mean, this is the most natural move, and I was happy with this position. But then after knight c4, I started thinking, and I realized there's no square for the queen. My intention was never to take on c4, because obviously this gives black plenty of play. But the move I planned to play queen c1, it was a tactical problem. Okay, knight e2 is possible, and probably this was still preferable to what I played. But my idea was to play knight g5, and I was very happy. Yeah, I was very happy for a while. But then I spotted the fact that after knight d5, e5, black has bishop takes g5. And normally, if white takes on e6, black's position is so disrupted that white should be doing fine. But the problem is the queen actually gets caught. Anywhere but on c1, white would be winning after d6, because this pawn doesn't matter. I mean, with such a center and the white squares, white will just give mate. But here, unfortunately, I will lose a lot of material, not just some material, a lot of material. So this doesn't work. And this was a bit of a problem for me, because if I don't have the c1 square, it's unclear where I can put the blasted thing. Queen e2, bishop g4, queen f2, knight g4. And here, okay, I can play queen g1, but I don't like the look of it. And after queen g3, what finally stopped me completely was that I realized that black can play like this. You know. And the knight will simply go back to g4, I'm a pawn down, I have no play. What have I given it for? I'm not entirely sure. So, I wasn't very happy about having to do it, but I simply felt I have no choice but to take on c4. bc4, knight c1, queen b7, b3, e4. This is all fairly natural, because obviously, no, this position would be quite nice on me actually, but it isn't. Black obviously doesn't want to allow f5. Black needs the bishop on e6. And here, my original intention was to play knight g5, but then I realized that in this position, I'm never in time to activate the knight on c1. If I could somehow teleport the knight, let alone to g4, even to g3 somehow, the position would be very unclear, because black is not giving mate just yet. Black has to play a5, a4 probably, it's going to take a while. But there is always something going on. The moment I start moving the knight, there will be AB3 rook c2 or some such. And basically, so far nothing is happening, but I felt a5, a4 is coming very fast, and I couldn't play this. So bishop takes f4, castles. Okay, I have to take on d6, I felt, because otherwise it's unclear what exactly. I mean, I can play knight d5 once again, but here maybe black even has an option of taking with the knight and going bishop f5. Here I felt, okay, e5, g5, bishop e5, rook b d8, I'm simply worse because I have nothing to show for it. At least I trade some pieces here. Okay, knight d5 is not a very happy choice, but once again I felt that otherwise, let's say, rook e3, there's a problem, black takes on b3, on c3, and knight takes e4, I think this works, yeah? And if I play something like queen d4, one of the options black has many options, but one of the options black has is simply queen c7 and take on h2, and at least after knight g5 I get to trade some pieces. And okay, I felt that black objectively should maybe play knight g5, e5, rook d8 here. But I felt that I should be able to, well, should be stronger word, but I have good chances of holding this endgame. Okay, bishop was obviously stronger than the knight, but I have some objects on the queen side I can worry black with. And I felt objectively this was how the game should have continued. But as a matter of fact, maybe I was wrong, because after we got to this position, because I felt, okay, after rook d2, there are no direct threats. c3 is not really a threat because the queen controls the most important diagonal. But after bishop g6, I realized that this is an important move because it stops me leaving the d6 square with a tempo, and now I have to do something. The knight is tied down. I don't really want to play king a1. Probably, maybe I should have, but somehow it didn't appeal to me. But my major problem was that I saw a continuation here